What song will you hate until you die? My mom did this with 7 Seconds by Nena Cherry and Yao Sundower, while in the throes of divorce and alcoholism. At 2 a.m., I had to threaten to frisbee the fucking CD out the window so that my siblings and I had a chance at sleeping. I haven't heard it in about 20 years, and it's still not long enough. Sorry Nena and Yao Su, I know it wasn't your fault. My dad did this on a 3.5-hour trip one year. One album, M People's Greatest Hits. The album is around an hour long, so we listened to it 3 times. All the songs sound the same, every single one of them. They all start with the saxophone intro, then she warbles for about 3 minutes, maybe some more sax, then end. We also listened to it throughout the weekend. When we went to go home, my mother threatened to throw the damn CD out the car. We never heard it again. I don't think it was paid, but I think the dude definitely knew what he was doing when he made it. You don't casually mention like 3-4 items on the Applebee's menu by name and use the Applebee's name along with a reference to a name brand beer as well in a generic pop country song. Now honestly, smart on the dude's part who created it. He knew how to play the game, and Applebee's bit hard. My workplace used to play a list of about 20 songs every day, every hour. Coincidentally, one of the songs that played was Rumor Has It. It's so egregious that as a collective, everyone working at the store decided to write a note to the manager to try to get a new station. In the end, we got what we wanted, and in the process got an upgrade in music, from slow, mindless songs to a bit of rock, pop. So I can't complain at all, but those initial 10 months of Rumor Has It was absolutely horrid. That summer, 2014, I thru-hiked the Appalachian Trail, so I was insulated from 2 of the most overplayed songs of the year/decade, Happy and All About That Bass. I vividly remember having to make an early morning, like 4 a.m., drive that October and hearing All About That Bass on the radio and being like, oh wow, what a fun, catchy song. Went on to post on my Facebook about it and got ridiculed by all my friends who were already sick of hearing it. The bit where he's like, in the backseat of your Rover, that I know you can't afford, buy that tattoo on your shoulder. It always confused me that, in this completely fictitious scenario where they're making out in her Range Rover, he momentarily makes passing judgments on her financial priorities, and then back to the making out. Why is that in a song? I used to do karaoke a lot, and there are always songs that you just hate to hear. My buddy and I would always mess with lyrics to make the bad songs more fun for us. Well, my girl's in the next room, sometimes I wish she was you. I guess we never really moved on. It's really good to hear your voice mumbling my name, it sounds so sweet, with your lips on my a-hole. Hearing those words, it makes me weak, and I never wanna say goodbye. But, girl, you make it hard to be faithful, with your lips on my a-hole. Edit. Thank you for the wholesome award. In college I had a buddy who was a late-night DJ at a local radio station, and he was told he had to play that god-awful song 120 times during his shift from Halloween until Christmas. He hated that song with a passion, so he decided to follow the letter of the law, and he played it over and over and over again on the very first night, and every 20 minutes or so he'd explain why he was doing it. The station manager was furious and was going to fire him until people like me called the station to thank them for at least having one time of night not to have to hear that garbage. I don't have enough time to list them all out. Basically, if it was played on the radio on any soft rock, top 40, or country music stations, I loathe it with an undying hate so intense that Satan himself would fear playing that music. Why? Because for a while, I worked at companies that pumped those radio stations through speakers in the facility, including engineering offices. For a while I tried using headphones, but the nature of my job includes lots of interruptions and meetings. For a while, Hey There Delilah, You're Beautiful and that annoying Alicia Keys' No One song were on my top 10 hated list. They were played once or twice an hour. I actually kept a log at one point because nobody believed me. They were really annoyed once I proved it and told me ignorance is bliss. At another company, they played country music. Parking lot party boys round here in Red Solo Cup made me want to have an explosive aneurysm with more energy than Chicxulub, Krakatoa, and Tunguska combined. One of the shop guys changed the station to top 40 when a few of the country listeners were out of town, and I was subjected to Haters Gonna Hate I Don't Care, Crash That Car into a bridge song, and Blurred Lines. It isn't necessarily the music itself, but the repetition factor. For instance, I heard Dance Monkey once in a restaurant, immediately decided it was annoying and not my taste, but I didn't hate it. Now, if I had to hear it 16-20 times a day, I might grow to really hate it. Paul McCartney, Wonderful Christmas Time. Sure, there are a lot of Christmas songs people hate. There are a lot that aren't it. There are a lot that were okay at one point but they've just been played to death. But there are two I genuinely love, Carol of the Bells and John Lennon's Merry Christmas. War is over, you know. The one that starts with So This Is Christmas. I swoon when I hear that song. I'm an adult male and I fucking swoon. The children's choir in the background, amazing. I always stop and listen to it when it comes on. But it doesn't come on very often. You know what does come on often? That fucking Paul McCartney song, with its slow effort beepy 80s keyboard sound and some jingle bells thrown in the background. And not only does it suck in its own right, but it reminds me of what I could be listening to instead, and I have to hear it 3 times as often. That's not an exaggeration, because I was at a store once and I had to listen to it 3 fucking times and only got John Lennon once. I suspect it's played on the radio more because it's cheaper, and it's cheaper because it sucks. Call Me Maybe. I was a senior in high school when that song came out and it was played everywhere, at every event, game, in the halls, dance rehearsal and practice. I couldn't stand it. I already didn't like it considering 2/3 of the song was her repeating the same 3 lines over and over again, but I hated it even more because it was on a repeat on every speaker. I have a tremendous amount of respect for Alan Jackson. Mostly because he did the opposite of Tim McGraw and stayed true to his roots, presumably told his label to pound sand when they demanded poppier country from him, and went sort of indie and is still there making great music. I actually believe that he wrote Where Were You in complete sincerity, and never intended it to be the launchpad for so many blatant examples of wartime propaganda via country music radio. Big Girls Don't Cry by Fergie. Why? I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, I can say it's annoying, infantilizing, or the sound involves more formless wailing than I'm prepared to deal with. But my physical response to this song is so overblown. Hearing the beginning of it fills me with rage. I will do whatever I can to not listen to this song. Turn off the radio, ask for the song to be changed, leave the room, go to the bathroom, or even whip out earplugs. As soon as I hear it I get hot with agitation and have one mission, to not hear any more of that god-awful song. It triggers fight or flight for me, and that's such ridiculously overblown response to have to any song, let alone one that's just kind of piddling and whiny. I think it insults both sides of the spectrum. The skinny shaming is blatant. but she spends the whole song saying average and bigger girls should be happy with themselves because boys like it. My mama, she told me don't worry about your size. She said boys like a little more booty to hold at night. Like, number, love yourself because you are great, not because boys like your jiggly bits to be extra jiggly. Also, the irony of every inch of you is perfect from the bottom to the top while calling thin gals stick figures. Hey, soul sister by train is a blight on this world. The place I used to work had the radio tuned to an adult alternative station, and I swear they played this song hourly. Every lyric in that song is pure poison, and the music sounds like the background to one of those cooking life hack videos that autoplay on Facebook. It's the kind of song a person who unironically says if you can't handle me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best thinks is about them. It's my personal headcanon that the AM computer and the memes only needed to hear that song before deciding that the human race deserved to be exterminated. Worst song ever, full stop. High Hopes is the most saccharine, pretentious drivel by the withered, corporate husk that is Panic! At the Disco. That was their first mainstream hit and signaled the end of the fun, goofy alt-pop band that Pat used to be. I know a lot of fans loathe Hey Look Mine made it far more, but at least you can listen to that song ironically as a deconstruction of the trope of making it to begin with. High Hopes just sounds like it was made to play at the introduction to a MLM convention. People are listing catchy songs that just got way overplayed but are well-crafted songs. I have no hate for those. I also have no hate for artistic risk-takers. Except Yoko One who ... I'm sorry was just trying too hard to be edgy and different and nothing sounded good. Let's talk about the lifeless, repetitive shit that has nothing to offer except maybe an attempt at a hook but never came together. Stuff that should have been aborted once they realized the conceived idea wasn't viable. How about Moby, Praise You? Really? That's it? I mean, it's fine if you're in a club grinding on some booty, but on the radio? In your car? How about Crank That, Soulja Boy? Yuck, I cringe when I even hear it. Who let the dogs out? Who cares? You ask that question like 200 times in that song and we never get any closer to an answer. Who? WHO. For my actual vote, I'm going to go with a song that I don't care if I ever hear again, and it's just a bland piece of tofu wrapped in cellophane. I'm going to call out the overproduced assembly line of the TV to pop industrial complex and say a moment like this. The song Kelly Clarkson sang after winning the first American Idol. It's nothing. It's just a bunch of writers in a room trying to come up with rhyming words and trying to make it sound epic. It has zero soul and nothing to offer anyone. I've got a couple. 7 Rings by Ariana Grande is one of them. It just sounds so bitchy. I hear that song and want to not interact with anyone who relates to it. That said, I don't know if it's intended ironically. Thunder by Imagine Dragons is the only song to make me physically ill by listening to it. Why did they need to alter their voices the way they did? WAP from Cardi B. I knew what it was about, and hated it before I ever heard it, just from the subject matter and lyrics alone. Then one day I decided to actually listen, at least expecting something catchy or boppin', you know. Something that is actually worth playing at the Grammys? Nope, the song sounds just as shit as the lyrics. Edit. Also, I never realized how annoying that stupid I'll Freak Out song is until I started working at Walmart and they'd play that song in full. Fucking hell. They play such bad music. One time my friends took acid and were lazing about. On the come up, someone went to Jimmy Buffett's Spotify page and threw on Margaritaville as a joke. Problem is, Jimmy Buffett has about 1,000 different versions of Margaritaville, where all that changes is the name of the town he's in that night, and as they were on some strong acid, they couldn't be bothered and eventually were physically incapable of changing the song, so they spent a rather intense acid trip listening to 1,000 minor variations of Margaretoville before the phone died, some sort of merciful act of suicide I assume. Nowadays, whenever someone's too messed up they can look over with a sly grin and say something like hey I'm buffeting right now and everyone will groan. Originally I had no problem with this song, and then one day, I was at a transit station where usually there are people doing all kinds of stuff, singing, playing instruments, etc., for money, aka begging, and I saw this short lady clearly with severe Down syndrome trying to dance to this tune played on a boombox. It was super awkward, the movement was robotic and uncoordinated. It was clear that nobody involved was enjoying this at all, certainly not her, and nobody watching. Standing next to her was I guess her mom, doing nothing but guarding maybe, but it felt like exploitation to me. That got associated with this song in my head. It's also kind of self-contradictory, like, if what makes her beautiful is that she doesn't know she's beautiful, but you told her, does that mean that she's not beautiful anymore? And if so, does she stop knowing that she's beautiful, and therefore have her beauty restored? Right, the only people that don't know they're beautiful are people with low self-esteem. Like, I have a type and don't find everyone attractive, but I do believe everyone is someone's type and can find someone that believes they're beautiful. And the only people that want their partner to not know they're beautiful are people that are emotionally and psychologically abusive. Pour some sugar on me. That song speaks overall to an type of life I just have zero tolerance and/or patience for. It is literally the concept of lowest common denominator in musical form. I have, and will continue to forever even when I must do so with my walker, gotten up and left places when it comes on Citrid, not big or noisily or dramatically, just get up, leave, return in 5 minutes. It angries up all sorts of thoughts about deep philosophical injustices in the human condition in me. I really hate that song. Tie a yellow ribbon round the old oak tree. We had a transistor radio in the bathroom. My mom would turn it up high up when that horrible song came on. She would shake her butt doing her hair, always smoking a cig. Of course the door was open. The bathroom connected to my bedroom. Fucking song. My mom was cute and I don't blame her. It was Tony Orlando and Dawn's fault. Despacito. Fuck Daddy Yankee. Fuck reggaeton and everything related to it. Fuck everybody who had the need to spam that shit song all over the web, radio and malls, and fuck Fonzie for selling his soul to that pos industry that needs to slap their reggaeton rhythm feces all over the songs they create, and fuck anybody and everybody who comes here with the but I liked it. It's a romantic song. If you don't like it, don't listen to it. Let others enjoy. You're biased against it because of your prejudice. If you listen to it enough you'd see it's a good, so fuck you. It's not. It's a shitty, unoriginal, mediocre song that has literally anything any other modern pop and reggaeton song has, and it amalgamates it into an even smellier turd somehow. Lots of people enjoyed smelling and forced you to smell it too. I don't want to ever listen to that piece of shit again, and I dread the next abomination that becomes the world trending song everybody starts playing everywhere. It was bad enough with Ed Sheeran's Shape of You. That might be just fine if not for the hordes of half-wits playing it non-stop until you want to whack that guy with a bat. Just one word: Despacito. I have like 3 reggaeton songs that I like and can listen to. All the rest is a ear trauma for me. And it has been that way all my life. I can still remember a party or some shit like that in the elementary school. I was like 9 octoseconds old. The teachers put some loud music, and this rhythm was rumbling so hard in my head that I literally had to run TF out because I had a big headache and I felt like I needed to vomit because of this pain, dizzying, and like 2 weeks after I realized that F-king thing was rage, my worst enemy since then.